It's spring of 2023, nearly 6 months since the merge. It's fair to say that nearly everyone who is GPU mining is using a different playbook compared to last summer. While some have chosen to turn off their rigs, I continue to move forward, spending much of my time improving my farm's efficiency. Part of that effort is learning about other projects, some new, some old, and a characteristic that easily grabs my attention is power draw. When we were all hyper-focused on Ethereum, the subject of power or efficiency was less of a concern since paying the electric bill was no problem. However, people on the outside, the non-miners, only see the high electrical use without understanding what work is being performed. So we get a lot of flack over the amount of energy that's consumed. It's only rational to then do everything that we can to make the topic moot. Web3 and the blockchain industry has a direct hand in the creation of their algorithms. So when a project such as Kaspa is introduced, sharing the K-heavy hash algorithm and its much lower power draw, I've become interested. In this video, I want to review several projects that have come forward allowing for better efficiency. Because of its high power draw, I have become much less interested in projects that run the Kaspa algorithm. For that reason, I will use it as an example of excessive use of energy. In this video, we'll compare it to Kaspa, Alephium, and Radiant. I have an RTX 4070 Ti in the test bench, so we'll use it to represent NVIDIA's current generation of cards. The card will also be set up to run with overclocks that allow for a good level of efficiency. Let's define what is a high power draw. So we'll first launch Kaspa. I have used a power meter at the wall to record the test bench's performance, and we'll share such data on the screen along with the overclocks. I want this review to answer the simple question: how much power does this card take to perform said algorithms? At approximately 32 megahashes, the RTX 4070 Ti pulls 180 watts when running Kaspa. Personally, I don't understand what is all involved in producing an ASIC-resistant algorithm, but if it involves more power, that is not a winning strategy, a horrible PR problem. Now let's jump to Kaspa. This was the project that I originally bought the 4070 Ti for. It performs very well. The card achieves approximately 1 gigahash at 138 watts. Radiant, a project that went live late last year, runs very similar to Kaspa. While a different algorithm, it uses the same overclocks. Here we see the 4070 Ti producing 1.36 gigahashes while pulling 130 watts. I want to review a project that caught my attention early last year, and that is Alephium. We knew upon its release that the Blake 3 algorithm introduced us to a lower power draw, but the profits that were to be had with Ethereum at the time were just too great. That said, post-merge we should revisit the project. Once up and running for a few minutes, Alephium is running at 2.21 gigahashes, while taking 150 watts. I don't want to overlook Dynex. This project launched last year and has been getting more attention, partially due to the gains made by SRB Miner. With the RTX 4070 Ti, I was pleasantly surprised. The card is producing 2.29 kilohashes at 124 watts. This is a far distance from Kaspa's algorithm, pulling 180 watts. Let's recap. All four projects are unique in their own way, and while market conditions will always influence our financial decisions, we can't ignore the obvious. Let's also note that less energy means less heat. Less heat allows for less abuse on our GPUs. Also, it turns the tables on the gamers, who used to bitch about the perception that mining was hard on cards. Linus has debunked this a couple times already, but I expect any AAA game will be more taxing on a GPU compared to Kaspa. Let's play this out in a hypothetical 8-card rig. 8 RTX 4070 Ti's running Kapow will pull approximately 1,470 watts. We'll round that up to 1,500. On a 120 volt circuit at 15 amps, this single rig has used all of its capacity while slightly over the 80% rule. Now let's use Radiant for a better scenario. Again, using 8 RTX 4070 Ti's, the rig would pull approximately 1,070 watts. We'll say 1,100, clearly coming in much lower. Let's review the revenue based on current market conditions at the time of making this video. The project that is running Kapow that produces the most revenue is Neoxa. The hypothetical 8-card rig would generate 3,781 coins for $3.01. For Radiant, we would pull in 8,815 coins for $5.39. Now keep in mind we still have 340 watts to use, which would allow for 2 more 4070 Ti's. Let's recrunch the numbers. With 10 cards running Radiant on the circuit, we would now produce 11,018 coins for $6.34. If one subscribes to the adage, "A rising tide lifts all boats," it's fair to assume that many of the projects will increase in value. How that translates to revenue produced by our operations will be different for all of us. But unless a project that runs on Kapow becomes the next Ethereum, it will have a difficult time attracting miners. We know projects will come and go, and while I do not know what will become of projects like Radiant, I am glad to see that efforts are being made on producing less demanding algorithms. The ripple effect is awesome. In the short term, we have smaller electric bills. In the long run, unless society embraces nuclear energy, the cost of electricity will only be increasing. So exploring the idea of running a farm on solar energy is more plausible if we are simply using less energy. In the comments below, share your thoughts on the projects that I've spoken to. Is there one that you're most interested in? If this conversation was of interest, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing if you have not already. It's much appreciated. Be mindful of your uptime, and thanks for watching.